Good afternoon, all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. But first, I have a question for you guys. You can respond down below if you'd like. I had an interaction with a buddy of mine in real life, as they say, and he asked me when or what made me decide to want to start a podcast. And I said, I don't have a podcast. And he said, well, what about what you're putting on YouTube? And really, I never thought about this as being a podcast. And so that's my question to you. Podcast or no? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see what the consensus is. So last weekend, we had a kid's birthday party on Sunday, went to church in the morning, and then kid's birthday party in the afternoon at some sort of trampoline indoor play place. It was loud and a lot of fun. So that was Sunday. Monday, back in the studio, I got started on a new project that really is small and me trying to help someone really. So through this Thursday networking group that I've been doing, I've talked about a little bit on here. I got connected with a local business owner who had an incident at a property that she is renting and hosting events at, and the fire marshal came, or the fire department came, and then a few months later after that, fire marshal came and paid her a visit, because they realized that, she was permitted, her certificate of occupancy, her business was for something other than how she was using the space. And she had just, kind of pivoted along the way, I guess, to hosting events. And that's not what she was permitted to do. And so the fire marshal came and said, hey, we need updated life safety plans. And she was kind of in a panic and got in touch with me through this networking group. And so I went and met with her and saw the space, and thankfully we had updated current CAD of the space, and I was able to put together a life safety plan and get it submitted for her. And so unfortunately her bathrooms don't comply. She doesn't have enough, and they don't meet the accessibility standards, and she does have the egress capacity. There's some stuff that maybe would need to be tweaked or whatever, but the bathrooms are really a big deal. And so through drawing and code research, we were able to figure that out for her and kind of give her some steps forward on what she needed to do. And so hopefully she'll be able to just persevere through this and be able to continue on with her business. But if you're a business owner and you are thinking about changing the way you operate, or you maybe have a business idea and you're looking for space, it really would pay to get an architect early on to help you confirm that the space that you're looking at is applicable for your proposed use. And so really, she was great, and I hope that we were able to help her. And unfortunately, kind of had some bad news, I guess, but really hopefully it'll help her move forward in compliance with the building codes and life safety codes and things like that. So an unfortunate situation, but glad that we were able to be there and help her and get to meet her. So really great interaction with her. I had a lunch that day, on Monday as well, with a former colleague of mine who is running his own shop. And he and I get together, excuse me, goodness, maybe every 3 to 6 months or so, sit down and talk shop about what we're doing and who we're doing it for and things like that. So that was great. And then back in the studio Monday afternoon. And then Tuesday morning, I had a meeting with the church project that I've been working on for their ceiling. This meeting was to meet with the owners, the interior designer who I'm partnered with, and the AV consultant. And so the thing about this room is that it's a multi-purpose space. They use it for all kinds of things. They serve lunch in there. They have big meetings in there. Once a month, they have live worship, has a little stage in there. And so there's really a big audiovisual component. There's sound, there's light, all of these things. And so the owner wisely engaged an audiovisual consultant early on in the project. And so we got to sit down with them, talk through some of the things in the drawings and the design and the space and things like that. And so they were really engaged and had good questions. And so it really pays to get the right team in place as soon and early as possible and get everybody on the same page. And so now we have this audiovisual consultant there who's going to do the design and install of the lighting controls, the sound and speaker system. And so now we're able to go to them and say, hey, this is the type of light we want. We need it to work with your system, and they can help us figure out what those things need to be. And so really great. Glad to meet them and get them on board. that project is in for permit, so hopefully we'll get comments back here, and we'll get some design changes updated, and we'll be able to get get that permitted and under construction here soon. And so that was Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I had lunch with a good friend of mine who also owns a small business here in town, and he and I hadn't seen each other in a while, but he's just a great guy and really has such a heart and a passion for small businesses. And so it was great to catch up with him, talk about where his business is and where it's going, talk about my business, and really just hear his advice and wisdom and things like that. So great to reconnect with him in lunch on Wednesday. And then from there I went and met a new client who they're going to do, basically they have a existing 3-story house, and they want to be able to age in place and have a owner suite on the main level. And so we're going to do an addition, a 2-story addition with a garage on the bottom, because his hobby is cars, and so he wants some garage space to be able to operate in, and then a owner suite there, and they've got a pool that it's going to kind of wrap around. And so I went and measured their house and took photo and video and documented everything, and we'll get drawn on that this upcoming week. And so really excited to serve them, and that's one of the things that we really love doing, is helping give people spaces that they can stay in long term, that we try not to design things that they can't live in long term, or they know they'll have to sell or get rid of in some capacity. And so really trying to facilitate that as much as humanly possible, that they can age in place and things. So really grateful for these guys, and happy to get to serve them. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, I had a call with an interior designer. I've talked about, I have a nice big modern house down south of the city, south of Atlanta, that's in design. And while I was sick a couple weeks ago, we had a meeting scheduled between me, the interior designer, and the owner. But because I had the flu, I wasn't able to attend. And so this was kind of a catch-up meeting from that. And so the owner and interior designer went ahead and met without me, which was totally fine and appropriate. And then the interior designer was catching me up on some of the things that they decided. They covered a lot of ground. Like I said, the house is big. It's got a lot of finishes in it and things like that. And we do need to make some revisions. So this is just part of the process, right? That as we go through the process, and I look at things one way, the designer looks at things one way, the owner looks at things one way, and we all gotta come to a consensus on how those things interact. And so that house, even though the drawings are pretty far along, I kind of conceptualized the kitchen and owner's or working pantry working and functioning in one way. The owner thought one way, the interior designer thought one way, and we really hadn't conversed all three about it. And so they had that meeting, and it came out, wow, I think we need some kitchen design revisions. So we're gonna work on that. And then Thursday afternoon, I went to my weekly networking meeting and really enjoyed that. And like I said, just feeling like I am able to speak about myself and my business and what we do and who we do it for, and just trying to refine my craft there and get better and better at that. So that was Thursday. Friday, I have a client who's also a friend who had engaged me last summer to study their basement. They knew they wanted to eventually put a couple bedrooms down there, rec room space that goes out to their pool deck, and some things like that. And so I'd drawn up a plan for them, just high level schematic. And now 6 months later, they're starting to talk about taking on that work. But they have probably one of the strangest situations that I've encountered. And the house, it's a full basement. It looks like a ranch from the street, full basement that goes out to they have a backyard and into their pool. When the house was originally built, apparently they couldn't get the fall from the main sewer outlet to the street due to where the sewer line is in the street. So they couldn't get the fall. And so what the builder did was they actually built the main sewer line in the house runs above the basement slab. Very unusual. The owner knew it was unusual, and he called a plumber. That's what I went to meet him for on Friday. I met the owner and the plumber together to talk through what to do. And the plumber said in 26 years of experience, he'd never seen anything like it. And really, he was not stumped. I mean, he knew what to do. He just had never seen it before. And so, this just goes back to our belief that there are no easy projects, no straightforward projects, no simple projects, only projects that require time and thought and care. And so what's going to have to happen, when I made the plans, we knew the sewer line was going to have to get buried under the slab. We had accounted for space for a sump pump there in the basement, a little mechanical closet, and that's how that would get handled. But when the plumber saw it, he said, no, it's too much load. Everything from the house is coming here. It's going to be the main sewer line, and he suggested that we do a lift station outside, which would have 2 pumps, so there would be redundancy, and the appropriate load to be able to move it out. The way he described it was that you want the lift station to be able to fill up, pump out, and that happens, call it once a day or something like that. So it was great to meet the plumber. He was very nice, very knowledgeable, and to be able to be there with my client and talk through this process with the plumber, who is an expert at what he does. Like I said, me and the owner, we had talked about it and we knew kind of what to plan for, but not to the level that the plumber did. So it was great to have that conversation. But the issue is that now what is, like I said, a 1,200 square foot basement project, really, this is the thing that has to happen first to be able to do all the other work. And so the owner is talking about, how do we phase this out? Where does it start and stop? If they cut up my slab and they put in this plumbing, what goes back? Those sorts of conversations. And so being able to advise him on that. And so we'll see what they do. It's a large chunk of money to be able to really just start the project and actually have no better space, only to be able to install this infrastructure. So we'll see what happens. Really appreciative of the plumber and his time and his knowledge and expertise. So again, kind of like I talked about with the previous the church project and having the AV consultant, it really, really pays to have the right people in place on your team. And so, we're always happy to interface with the experts, in their specific trade and craft. So that was good. Friday afternoon, met with my peer group from school. We all graduated together, talked to them, and really got to just, talk shop. And I've said before, if you don't have a peer group like that, get one. Just people that you can go to, ask questions of, things like that is really, really valuable. And then I sent out a proposal Friday afternoon for a potential new client who wants to do some renovation work in her existing house, master bath, kitchen, some things like that. And so sent out a proposal for her to be able to do that. So that was last week. And that's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, you have comments, you're curious about what we do or how we do it, leave them below, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. And I think that's all we got for this week. So y'all be particular, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Take care.